You could easily and obviously call this show Gunsmoke, but the organizers call it End of Trail. It is the International Championship of Cowboy Action Shooting. The summer gathering in 2011 will mark 3 decades of this most unusual event, which draws some 550 competitors from 7 different nations to a ranch east of Albuquerque.
It's still surprising to me that there are a lot of people that have absolutely no idea that this has ever gone on. And when they find it, it's like, oh my God.
Cartridges fly and ears ring as participants gun their way through an obstacle course of targets. Each plink means points, and these competitors aim to win. But there is far more happening here than a shooting contest.
Some people are very serious about it, but most people are pretty friendly about it. It's, the cowboy way, to have fun and be safe and enjoy yourself and look good doing it.
Outlaw outfits and costume characters are all part of the experience here. The Single Action Shooting Society organizes this event to celebrate everything about the Old West, both shooting and social aspects.
There's some kind of romantic attachment to the Old West. It was really a very short period of our history, but it holds a lot of romanticism for some reason.
Something we have that no other country had. And we had it, and that's evident with the international group that we have. They come here because they didn't have that kind of history. They didn't have that period, and it's something that's unique to the United States.
The attraction of this era cuts across the entire population. Participants come from all over, all lifestyles, both genders, and any age. And in true Old West fashion, not all the shooting is of the stand-up sort. One of the most exciting and challenging parts of the competition is the horseback gunfire. Don't worry about errant bullets flying into the crowd. These riders are armed with powder only, which is still plenty of punch to pop those balloons. And while the premium points pile up with speed, many of the riders take it more mellow through the course. Here, just as everywhere else on the ranch, the cowboy way rules. The competition is essentially a backdrop, an excuse to get together and share an interest in the West. The degree and direction of that interest can be as varied as the participants. Everyone gets an alias, like Coyote Calhoun or Lily Orleans. But after that initial immersion into the Western way, you pick your own path of involvement and enjoyment.
I prefer to be as historically accurate as I can, but some people really enjoy the B-Western, they enjoy the silver screen aspect of it, or just their own personal fantasy of how it was in the West.
All of the shooting and styling takes place at Founders Ranch in Edgewood, New Mexico. It's an appropriate setting because the landscape hasn't changed much in the past century and a half, back when this really was the Wild West.
Well, I think New Mexico is a perfect spot for it. I mean, there's so much old Western history here in New Mexico, from Billy the Kid to Kit Carson and some of the Western characters, that I think this is the ideal spot for it.
There are still tents for many of the vendors at Founders Ranch, where participants and spectators can buy just about anything Old Western imaginable. But in the past several years, a realistic-looking Old West town has started developing on the ranch. From hitching post to haberdashery, from gun shop to trading post, the ranch is evolving into a setting suitable for Hollywood or tourists. Visitors are welcome at End of Trail each summer. The participants say anyone willing to give it a shot should be well entertained.
For them, it would be like walking into, an Old West town. You've got, Wyatt Earp walking by, Doc Holliday, Miss Kitty. You've got, it's like all your old favorite Western movies come to life.
It's shotguns and 6-shooters, but in some ways, it's a time machine.